In the far reaches of the galaxy, where stars are few and space feels endless, there lies a small blue planet known as Earth. From the outside, it seems quiet and unimportant. To most galactic powers, it is just another forgotten world. Home to a species that has not yet earned its place among the stars, but beneath the surface, something is happening. For centuries, humans have been watched, not by gods or myths, but by silent eyes in the sky. Observation satellites hidden among asteroids operated by an ancient galactic council. They call themselves the Zilari Council, though no human knows their name. They have decided that Earth is too wild, too dangerous, too young to be part of the greater galaxy. They were wrong. A discovery. Beneath the Earth deep, under the rocky hills of Colorado, in a forgotten military base once used during the Cold War, a man named Jason Elliott walked through dusty halls lined with broken computers and old maps. He was a scientist, not a soldier, but the government had asked for his help. "We think there's something down here," said the officer leading him. "Something we never understood." Jason adjusted his glasses and looked around. The air was dry, the lights flickered, and everything smelled like rust and time. They reached a heavy steel door at the end of the hallway. It was locked, covered in faded warnings and strange symbols. The officer handed Jason a key card. "Open it," he said. With a beep and a hiss, the door slid open. Inside was a room filled with boxes, files, and one large metal case marked only with a number. Jason opened the case carefully. Inside was a strange object, smooth, black, and cool to the touch. It looked like a piece of a machine, but nothing he had ever seen before. Next to it was a folder labeled Operation Black Sun. He opened it and began to read. What he found changed everything. The documents told a story that had been buried for decades. In the 1940s, near a small town called Roswell, a strange object fell from the sky. The U.S. government recovered it. What they didn't tell the world was that the object wasn't natural. It was technology, advanced beyond anything on Earth. Scientists studied it in secret. Slowly, over many years, they reverse-engineered parts of it. Some of the greatest inventions of the 20th century, satellite tech, microchips, even early versions of lasers, had roots in that single discovery, and it didn't stop there. In the 1960s, a new program began, Operation Black Sun. Its goal was simple: learn from the alien device and build something new. Not just weapons, but tools, machines, even spacecraft. Most people believed it was all conspiracy theories. But Jason now held proof in his hands. A hidden history. Over the next few weeks, Jason went through more files, met with retired scientists, and uncovered layers of secrets hidden in plain sight. The truth was shocking. Humans had known about aliens for a long time, not just one race either. The documents mentioned different species, some peaceful, others not. Some had visited Earth long ago, some may still be watching. He learned about underground labs, hidden bases in Antarctica, and even a secret moon station built in the 1970s but never announced. Most importantly, he learned that humanity had been growing stronger in silence. While the world fought wars, built cities, and argued over politics, a small group of scientists and leaders had been preparing for something bigger. They knew the day would come when humans would no longer be alone in the universe. They wanted to make sure Earth was ready. The new generation at the same time. Across the world, other minds were rising. In California, Lisa Moran worked late into the night in her lab. She was a brilliant engineer, known for pushing the limits of what was possible. She had helped design the first working prototype of a warp drive engine, a machine that could bend space and allow travel faster than light. No one outside her team knew about it. In Russia, a former pilot named Alexei Vasilyev trained with a new kind of fighter jet, one built with materials taken from a crash site in Siberia decades ago. In China, a young physicist named Wei Chen worked on quantum communication systems that could send messages instantly across the solar system. All over the world, pieces of a puzzle were being put together. Not by governments alone, but by dreamers, thinkers, and rebels who saw the future and refused to wait for it. The watchers in the sky, meanwhile, far beyond the reach of human eyes, something stirred. On a massive ship orbiting the edge of the solar system, a council of beings gathered. They were tall, pale, and wore flowing robes made of living light. They were the Zalari Council, keepers of balance in the galaxy. One of them, known only as High Observer Ralek, spoke. "Earth grows stronger," he said. "Their science moves quickly. Their ships can now leave their system." Another replied, "They are still divided. They fight each other. They are not ready." "Perhaps not," said Ralek, "but they are close." A third voice joined them. "Should we intervene?" There was silence. Then Ralek said, "No, not yet. Let us watch. If they continue on this path, we will decide what must be done." The meeting ended. The watchers continued to observe. The first steps into space back on Earth, things were changing fast. After uncovering the truth, Jason contacted Lisa. She came to Colorado, bringing with her the latest data from her research. Together, they reviewed everything. The alien tech, the hidden programs, the global efforts. "We're not ready for the stars," Lisa said, looking at the numbers, "but we're closer than anyone thinks." "Then we need to move forward," Jason replied, "before someone else decides our fate." They started building something new. A ship. Not just any ship. A real starship, capable of leaving the solar system and reaching other worlds. It was called the Liberty. Construction began in secret, funded by a coalition of nations who had quietly agreed to work together. Engineers, pilots, soldiers, and scientists joined the effort. Among them was Marcus Delgado, a skilled pilot who had flown experimental aircraft since he was 20. He was chosen to lead the flight crew. Also joining was Emily Parker, a linguist, who had spent years studying unknown languages and signals from deep space. She believed some of those signals were not random. They were messages. From all corners of the world, people came together, united by a single idea. Humanity was no longer going to hide. A world unaware. While all this was happening, most of the world remained unaware. People lived their lives, went to school, got jobs, raised families. They didn't know that a war was brewing between two great galactic powers, the Virexian Union and the Kalan Alliance. They didn't know that both sides had already sent spies to Earth, disguised as humans. They didn't know that one of the largest telescopes in Africa had picked up movement near Pluto, something big, moving fast. And they didn't know that soon, everything was going to change. The rising storm weeks turned into months, but in the Liberty neared completion. Its engines were unlike anything ever built. Powered by a fusion core and guided by AI systems developed from alien code, it was fast, strong, and almost silent in space. Inside, teams trained for every possible mission: exploration, defense, diplomacy. Jason and Lisa worked non-stop, checking every system, testing every function. "This is it," Lisa said one night, standing on the observation deck of the hidden facility where the ship was being built. "If we launch this ship, there's no turning back." "I know," Jason replied, "but hiding isn't safe anymore. If we don't take control of our future, someone else will." Outside, the wind howled across the desert. Above, the stars blinked silently. Somewhere, out there, the storm was coming, and humanity was finally ready to face it. The Liberty was ready. After months of secret work, it sat on its launch pad deep beneath a mountain in Colorado. It looked like no other ship ever built by humans. Sleek, dark, and silent, it was made with stolen alien tech and human ingenuity. Jason Elliott stood beside Lisa Moran, watching engineers make final checks. "This is it," he said. "We're really doing this," she replied. They had spent their lives chasing the stars. Now they were about to leave Earth behind. A mission into the unknown. The mission was simple: fly beyond Mars, test the warp drive, and return safely. But nothing about space travel was simple. The crew of the Liberty was small but strong. Marcus Delgado was the pilot, calm under pressure and quick to react. Emily Parker was the linguist, trained to understand unknown languages and signals. Others included scientists, medics, and 2 military officers who came along for protection. Final. Check complete, Marcus said. Systems green. Launch in 5, 4, 3. With a low hum, the engines powered up. The ground shook slightly as the ship lifted off, moving silently through the hidden tunnel that led to the surface. Then, with a flash, the Liberty broke free into the sky. It climbed higher, faster, until the blue faded and the stars filled the view. They were in space. The crash that changed everything, not far from Earth. A battle raged between 2 galactic powers, the Virexian Union and the Kalan Alliance. For centuries, these 2 groups had fought over control of trade routes, planets, and resources. Now their war had reached the edge of human space. A damaged Virexian warship limped through the void, trailing fire and smoke. It had been hit hard during an ambush. Most of its crew was dead or unconscious. Inside the command room, Commander Ralvex bled from a wound on his head. He looked at the controls, then at the few surviving soldiers around him. "We must land," he said weakly, "or we die here." He punched in coordinates at random, hoping for any place to survive. Moments later, the ship vanished into warp and reappeared on Earth. The crash site was in the mountains of northern Canada. Trees were torn apart, snow melted in seconds, and the ship skidded across the frozen ground before coming to a stop. Somewhere nearby, a U.S. military base picked up the impact. General Daniel Hawthorne was in his office when the alert came. "Unknown. Object has crashed near our position," said the officer. "Satellite images show it's not ours." Hawthorne stood up slowly. "Send a team," he said. A hostile welcome hours later, armed soldiers surrounded the wrecked ship. It was unlike anything they had seen before. Sharp edges, glowing panels, and strange symbols etched into the hull. A hatch opened with a hiss. Smoke poured out. From inside stepped Ralvex and his surviving crew. They raised their hands, signaling surrender. But the soldiers didn't know what they were facing. One soldier shouted a warning. Another fired a shot. Ralvex fell back, blood running from his arm. His crew reacted instantly. They pulled weapons from their suits and returned fire. Within minutes, the area was chaos. When the dust settled, both sides had lost men. Ralvex and 2 of his crew were captured. The rest were dead. A mistake with consequences. Back in Washington, General Hawthorne reviewed footage of the event. "We don't know what we're dealing with," he said. "Those weren't just aliens. They were soldiers." Meanwhile, news of the crash spread quickly among the galactic powers. A Kalan scout ship monitoring the region picked up the battle. "Earth," the captain whispered. "They attacked one of our enemies." Mistaken for allies of the Virexians, Earth had become a target. An unexpected strike. 3 days after the crash, the Kalans struck back. Without warning, a fleet of ships dropped out of warp near Earth. Their weapons locked onto a major city in Eastern Europe. Missiles launched. Within minutes, the city burned. Millions died. Governments around the world went into emergency mode. Leaders called meetings. Scientists tried to understand what had happened. Was this the start of an invasion? Were humans finally not alone? Jason and Lisa watched the news from their lab. "This is bad," Jason said. "Really bad. We have to do something," Lisa replied. A message from space. At the same time, the Liberty was still in orbit. Its crew had received the signal from the crash site and the attack on Earth. "Something's wrong," Emily Parker said, looking at her screen. "The language used by the Virexians, it's not aggressive. They were trying to surrender." Marcus frowned. "So we just started a war by mistake?" "Looks like it," Jason said. "They had to act fast." "We need to go down there," he said. "Talk to those prisoners, find out what's going on." "That could be dangerous," Marcus warned. "Everything is dangerous now," Jason replied. "But if we don't try, we might lose everything." While the journey back, the Liberty turned toward Earth. As it entered the atmosphere, alarms blared. "Multiple aircraft closing in," Marcus said. "They think we're hostile." "Send a message," Jason ordered. Tell them who we are. Emily typed quickly, sending a signal in multiple languages. Seconds later, the jets backed off. Someone recognized the Liberty. The ship landed at a secure facility near the Canadian border. Waiting for them was General Hawthorne. "You people better have answers," he said. "We do," Jason replied, "but you're not going to like them." Truth and tension in a large meeting room. Jason and Lisa explained everything. The truth about Roswell, about Operation Black Sun, about humanity's rise in secret, about the Liberty, about the crash, about the misunderstanding. Hawthorne listened carefully. "You're telling me," he said, "that we just got ourselves into a war because of a mistake?" "Yes," Jason said, "and if we don't fix it, more people will die." "What do you suggest we do?" Hawthorne asked. "We send a message," Emily said, "to the Kalen. Tell them we're not their enemy." "And how do we do that?" someone else asked. "We use the Liberty," Jason said. "We go out there, face them, prove we're not the ones who attacked them." There was silence. Then Hawthorne nodded. "Do it." Preparing for first contact within hours, the Liberty was refueled and repaired. The crew prepared for departure. Emily worked on translating messages. Marcus checked flight paths. Jason and Lisa reviewed all possible outcomes. "This could fail," Lisa said. "Badly." "I know," Jason replied, "but we have to try." Into the fire, the Liberty launched again. This time, it headed straight into danger. As it passed the moon, sensors detected movement. A Kalen warship floated in space, scanning the solar system. "They're looking for us," Marcus said. "Let's make sure they see us," Jason said. He ordered the ship to send a clear signal. A message in the Kalen language played over and over. "We are not your enemy." The warship responded. Weapons powered up. Everyone on the Liberty held their breath. Would this be the end, or the beginning of something new? The Liberty floated in space, surrounded by a Kalen warship 3 times its size. Weapons were powered up. Shields were ready. One wrong move could mean destruction. Inside the human ship, the crew held their breath. "They're scanning us," Emily, Parker said, watching her screen. "They know we're not Virexian." "But do they care?" Marcus Delgado asked, his hands tight on the controls. Jason Elliott stood beside Lisa Moran, both of them thinking fast. "Send another message," Jason said. "Tell them we have proof that Earth is not their enemy." Emily typed quickly, sending a new signal. This time, it included data from the crash site, showing how the Virexians had tried to surrender before being attacked. Seconds passed. Then the Kalen warship responded, not with fire, but with words. "Identify yourselves," came the translated message. Jason looked at Hawthorne, who was watching from Earth through a secure link. "This is the Liberty," Jason said into the comms. "We are humans from Earth. We did not attack you." There was silence again. Then finally, "Stand by." A dangerous meeting. After a tense wait, the Kalen allowed the Liberty to dock with their ship. It was not an invitation. It was an order. "They want to see us for themselves," Lisa said, "or they want to lock us up," Marcus muttered. Regardless, there was no choice. Jason, Lisa, Emily, and 2 guards stepped onto the alien vessel. Inside, everything was different. The walls glowed softly. The air smelled strange. Tall, thin beings with dark skin and sharp eyes watched them closely. A leader stepped forward. He wore armor covered in glowing lines. "You claim your world is not our enemy," he said in broken English. "Yet your kind shot down our enemies and launched no warning." Jason took a deep breath. "We didn't know what we were facing. We acted out of fear. But we want peace." The Kalen leader studied him. "Then show us the truth," he said. The hidden station back on Earth, General Hawthorne reviewed the latest reports. "If this goes bad," he told his officers, "we may be at war within days." Meanwhile, Jason and his team worked with the Kalen to prove their innocence. During the talks, the Kalen mentioned something unusual, a derelict station orbiting a dead sun. "We believe it belonged to the Tharan," the leader said. "Who?" Lisa asked. An ancient race, the Kalan replied. They vanished long ago, but some say they are returning. Jason exchanged a look with Emily. Can we visit this station? He asked. The Kalan hesitated, then nodded. Perhaps the answers you seek lie there. Journey into Darkness, the Liberty left the Kalan ship behind and traveled across space. The station was far away, near a dying star that cast long shadows across the void. As they approached, the crew felt uneasy. This place feels wrong, Marcus said. Like nobody has been here in a long time, Emily added. They docked carefully. The air inside was thin but breathable. The halls were dark. Broken lights flickered. Dust covered everything. They moved slowly. Weapons ready. In the control room they found logs, records stored in old systems. Emily connected her translator. Slowly the logs began to play. Voices filled the room. At first they spoke in an unknown language. Then, translation kicked in. This is Station Delta 9, said a voice. Last survivors of the Tharan. Our people are gone, wiped out by war. Those who remain hide among the stars. Waiting. Waiting for what? Jason whispered. To return, said another voice. To reclaim what was ours. Lisa turned pale. This isn't just history, she said. This is happening now. Audium Earth under fire. Meanwhile, back home things were getting worse. A second attack struck Earth, not from the Kalan this time, but from the Virexians. They blamed humanity for helping the Kalan. They saw the Liberty's actions as betrayal. Missiles rained down on a military base in Alaska. Planes scrambled. Defenses fired back. But the Virexians were fast and strong. Casualties rose. General Hawthorne ordered all forces to prepare for full-scale conflict. We need to protect our cities, he said. And we need to find a way to stop this war before it spreads. He contacted Isaac Delgado, Marcus's younger brother. Isaac was part of a small strike force tasked with disabling a powerful Virexian relay hidden in orbit around Mars. Your mission hasn't changed, Hawthorne told him. Disable that relay. It's jamming our communications. If we can talk to the Kalan without interference, we might still have a chance. Isaac nodded. I'll get it done. Futuristic, a mission that cost everything. Zach and his team boarded a stealth shuttle and launched into space. Their journey took them past the moon, through asteroid fields, and toward Mars. The relay was protected by heavy defenses. Drones, lasers, and automated turrets lined its outer shell. This won't be easy, Isaac said. His pilot, a woman named Clara Reynolds, guided the shuttle close. We go in fast, she said. Hit hard, get out before they regroup. They dropped onto the relay. Gunfire echoed through the vacuum. Team members fell. Isaac reached the core. He planted charges. Get clear, he shouted. He stayed behind, making sure the detonator worked. The explosion lit up the dark. The relay shattered. Into pieces. But so did Isaac. His body floated in space, silent and still. A new enemy emerges back on Earth. The news spread. Isaac Delgado was dead. His sacrifice allowed the Liberty to send an unblocked message to the Kalan. Thank you, the Kalan leader said. Now we understand. You are not our enemy. Then help us stop this war, Jason said, before it destroys us all. But even as they spoke, something else happened. Deep in space, a massive fleet appeared. Ships, unlike anything seen before. Black hulls, glowing eyes, weapons that burned entire moons. The Tharun had returned. Or the first signs of fear in Earth, alarms blared. Radars picked up movement near Uranus. Something big was coming. What is that? Hawthorne asked. Scientists couldn't answer. Jason and Lisa stared at the data from the station. The Tharun aren't just returning, Lisa said. They're invading. Why now? Jason asked. Because the galaxy is weak, Emily said. The Virexians and Kalan are fighting each other. They're too busy to stop this. And we're caught in the middle, Marcus added. Hawthorne looked at the screen. Then we better get ready, he said. Preparing for the unknown Earth had no idea what it was facing. The Liberty returned home faster than ever. Scientists worked non-stop to understand Theran technology. Governments called emergency meetings. People around the world watched the skies with fear. For the first time in history, humanity faced not just one enemy, but many. The Virexians still wanted revenge. The Kalan were only beginning to trust them. And now, a third power, the most dangerous of all, was moving toward Earth. A world united despite the danger. Something changed. Countries stopped arguing over borders and resources. They started working together. Russia shared data with America. China helped build new defense systems. Europe trained pilots. Africa opened communication hubs. Even smaller nations joined the effort. Humanity was no longer just surviving. It was preparing to fight. The rising storm as the Liberty prepared for its next mission. Jason stood on the observation deck. He looked at the stars. We used to dream about going out. There, he said. Now we're fighting just to stay alive, Lisa said. Maybe both are true, he replied. Maybe this is how we become more than just a forgotten world. She smiled faintly. Then let's make sure we survive long enough to see it. Outside, the sky darkened. Somewhere in space, the storm was growing, and humanity was standing ready. The stars were no longer silent. Across the galaxy, war raged on. The Virexians fought the Kalan, and now a new enemy had arrived. The Tharan, an ancient race thought to be long gone. But something strange was happening. Humanity, once seen as weak and unimportant, was starting to change everything. A message across the Starson board, the Liberty. Jason Elliott stood near the command console, watching the latest data come in. The Tharun are moving fast, Emily Parker said, studying her screen. They've already taken over 2 Kalan outposts. And they're heading this way, Marcus Delgado added. Lisa Moran walked into the room, holding a tablet filled with reports. Earth is preparing for the worst, she said. Governments are working together like never before. Jason nodded slowly. We can't wait any longer. We have to send a message to both the Virexians and the Kalan. What kind of message? Emily asked. A warning, Jason said. And an offer. He looked at the others. If we don't unite against the Tharan, none of us will survive. Monsieur, the call for alliance back on Earth. General Daniel Hawthorne sat in a large meeting room with leaders from around the world. This is not just about Earth anymore, he said. The Tharun are not just invaders. They're conquerors. They will take everything unless we stop them. A senator from France frowned. How do we know we can trust the aliens? Because if we don't, we all die, Hawthorne replied. He turned to his aide. Send the signal. Tell the Liberty we're ready to move forward. Moments later, across space, the Liberty received the message. Earth approves Plan Alpha, the text read. Jason took a deep breath. Then it begins. The first contact that changed everything, the Liberty flew toward the edge of human-controlled space, its destination, a neutral zone between the Virexian and Kalan forces. It was dangerous territory. Both sides still saw each other as enemies. But Jason had a plan. He opened a channel to both fleets. This is the Liberty, he said. We bring news that concerns all of you. Silence followed. Then one by one responses came in. We are listening, said the Virexian. Commander, so are we, said the Kalan leader. Jason stepped forward. There is a new enemy among us, the Tharan. They are not here to trade or talk. They are here to take control. He paused. If you keep fighting each other, they will destroy you both. Another pause. But if you work together with us, you might have a chance. For a long time there was only silence. Then the Virexian commander spoke. You ask us to trust humans, a species we barely know. I'm not asking for trust, Jason said. I'm asking for survival. Finally, the Kalan leader responded. Show us proof. Jason nodded to Emily. She sent over the data collected from the derelict station orbiting the dead sun. Images, voice logs, and battle footage played across the alien ship's screens. Shock spread through both fleets. "This is real," the Kalen leader whispered. "Then we must act," the Virexian commander said. The Earth Coalition form. With the agreement of both sides, the first steps toward unity began. On Earth, the world watched in awe as nations came together like never before. Military bases shared technology. Scientists worked side by side. Factories built weapons not for war against each other, but for defense against a common enemy. A new government body was formed, the Earth Coalition Council. Its goal, to lead humanity into its place among the stars. Senator Nina Carter became one of its strongest voices. "We are no longer just one planet," she said in a global broadcast. "We are part of something bigger, and we will not hide anymore." Her words inspired millions. People who once feared the unknown now looked to the sky with hope. A fleet, unlike any other in secret shipyards hidden beneath oceans and inside mountains. New ships were being built. Not just copies of alien tech, but original designs made by humans. The UEC's Unity, the largest human-built starship ever, was nearing completion. Its crew included pilots, engineers, soldiers, and diplomats. Among them was Isaac Delgado's friend Clara Reynolds, now promoted to captain. "This is what he died for," she whispered, standing on the bridge. Next to her was Marcus Delgado, his eyes fixed on the stars. "Then we better make sure it counts," he said. The Tharun strike back as preparations continued. The Tharun launched their first major attack on human space. A fleet of black ships dropped out of warp near Mars. Their weapons fired without warning. The orbital mining stations exploded in fire. Colonies on Phobos and Deimos were destroyed. Millions died. Panic spread across Earth. But so did anger. Humans were no longer helpless. They were ready. The battle for Mars within hours. The Liberty and the newly formed Earth Coalition fleet launched a counterattack. Dozens of ships rose from Earth, joining forces with allied Virexian and Kalen units. "This is it," Marcus said, gripping the controls. "Let's show them what we're made of," Jason replied. The battle was fierce. The Tharun ships moved fast, striking hard and disappearing into warp before defenses could react. But the humans had something new, technology stolen from the past, knowledge gained from years of secrecy. The Liberty led the charge, firing experimental railguns that tore through enemy shields. Clara Reynolds' ship, the Unity, held the line, protecting the remaining colonies. Marcus dove into the heart of the battle, taking down 3 Theran fighters in under a minute. For the first time, the Theran faced resistance, and for the first time, they hesitated. Victory and loss after hours of fighting. The Tharun retreated. They left behind burning wreckage and broken ships. But the cost was high. Many human ships were lost. Clara Reynolds, second in command, was killed. And on Earth, families mourned those who had fallen. Yet, despite the loss, the battle was a turning point. Humanity had proven itself. No longer a forgotten world, no longer prey. They were warriors, allies, equals. A new era begins in. The days that followed, peace talks between the Virexians and Kalen resumed. Thanks to humanity's help, a ceasefire was declared. The Tharun remained a threat, but now the galaxy stood together against them. On Earth, celebrations broke out. Cities lit up the night sky. Children dreamed of becoming astronauts, not just soldiers. Schools taught lessons about space diplomacy. For the first time in history, humans looked up and felt proud, not afraid. A final. Warning as the Liberty returned to Earth, Jason stood on the observation deck. "We won a battle," he said quietly. "But not the war." Lisa joined him. "We showed them we're not weak, but the Tharun aren't going to stop." "No," he agreed. "They'll come back, stronger than before." Emily walked in with a report. "We found something in the wreckage," she said. "A message." They gathered around the screen. The words appeared in glowing letters. You think you have won, but you are only beginning to understand. We have waited long. We will return. Everyone fell silent. Then Jason smiled faintly. Good, he said. Because we're ready. Outside, the stars shone brighter than ever, and humanity was no longer hiding. The war had changed everything. After years of fighting, hiding, and learning, humanity was no longer just another planet in the dark corners of space. It had become a force to be reckoned with. But the Tharan were not done. They had retreated after the Battle of Mars, but their message made one thing clear. They would return, and when they did, they would come stronger. A galaxy united on board the Liberty. Jason Elliott looked at the latest reports. The Virexians and Kalen are rebuilding, Emily Parker said. They're preparing for another attack. So are we, Marcus Delgado added, checking the weapon systems. Lisa Moran walked into the room holding a tablet. Earth has completed the new defense network, she said. It covers most of our solar system now. Jason nodded slowly. Good, because this time we won't be caught off guard. Across the galaxy, preparations continued. For the first time in history, the Virexians and Kalen worked together, sharing knowledge and resources. Humanity stood at the center of it all, not as leaders, but as a bridge between two ancient enemies. Senator Nina Carter spoke from Earth in a global broadcast. We have faced fear, loss, and war, she said, but we have also found strength, unity, and hope. We are no longer alone in the stars, and we will never go back to hiding. Her words reached millions. People who once feared the unknown now dreamed of exploring it. Children played with model ships pretending to fly among the stars. Scientists worked on new ways to travel faster, communicate better, and understand alien cultures. Humanity had risen, and now it was ready for what came next. The final mission weeks passed. Then the warning came. A fleet of Tharan ships had been spotted near Uranus. They were coming back. This time, they weren't just attacking. They were invading. They mean to take control of the entire solar system, General Daniel Hawthorne said during a meeting on Earth. Then we stopped them, Jason replied. A plan was formed. The largest fleet ever assembled, humans, Virexians, and Kalen, would meet. The Tharan head-on, their target, the Tharan homeworld. If they could destroy the command center there, they might be able to end the war before it spread further. The Liberty would lead the charge. Its crew had grown since the beginning of the YAO. New pilots, scientists, and soldiers had joined, but the core team remained the same. Jason, Lisa, Emily, Marcus. They were no longer just explorers. They were warriors, diplomats, heroes. Into the heart of the enemy, the fleet moved fast. Hundreds of ships jumped through, warp, traveling across the galaxy toward the Tharan homeworld. It was a cold, dark planet surrounded by broken moons and floating wreckage. As they approached, the enemy ships appeared. Dozens of them. Black hulls, glowing eyes, silent death. The battle began. Lasers lit up the void. Missiles exploded in clouds of fire. Ships crashed and burned. The Liberty flew through the chaos, dodging enemy fire. We need to get inside, Marcus shouted over the noise. I've got a path, Clara Reynolds called from the Unity. Go now, Jason didn't hesitate. Take us in, he ordered. The ship dove toward the surface, past the outer defenses, past the storm clouds, down to the heart of the Tharun Empire. The truth beneath the surface, inside the main command center, the Liberty landed quietly. Jason, Lisa, Emily, and a small team stepped out, weapons ready. The halls were empty, silent. Broken lights flickered. They moved carefully. Finally, they reached the central chamber. A massive screen showed live feeds from every battlefield. At the center stood a single figure. Tall, thin, pale skin, eyes like burning stars. "You have come far," the Theron leader said. Jason stepped forward. "We know why you're here. You want to conquer the galaxy." The leader shook his head slowly. "No, we want to survive." Emily frowned. "What do you mean?" The leader looked at them, tired. "Long ago, our people ruled the stars. We built cities that touched the sky. We traveled beyond light itself." He paused. "But then we fought. Civil war, destruction, exile." He looked at Jason. "Those of us who survived scattered, hid, waited." "Until now," Lisa whispered. "Yes," the leader said. "We returned to reclaim what was ours, not to rule, but to rebuild." Silence filled the room. Jason looked at his team. "You don't have to fight anymore," he said. "There's another way." The leader's eyes widened slightly. "You offer peace?" he asked. "Yes," Jason said. "If you stop the war, if you stop attacking innocent worlds." The leader looked around the room. Then slowly, he nodded. "Perhaps it is time." A ceasefire. Across the stars within hours, the order went out. The Tharan ships stopped firing. They withdrew. Some surrendered. Others fled. The war was over. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. People cheered in the streets. Leaders held meetings. Plans for peace began. The Virexians and Kalen agreed to a treaty. Humanity was officially recognized as a sovereign power. No longer a forgotten world. No longer watched from afar. Now, it was part of the greater galaxy. A new beginning. Months later, the UAC's Unity floated in orbit above Earth. From its bridge, General Hawthorne looked down at the blue planet below. "They used to call us weak," he said quietly. "Now look at us." Beside him stood Senator Carter. "We've come a long way," she said, "but this is only the start." In a nearby room, Jason and Lisa reviewed the latest reports. "Colonies on Mars are growing," Lisa said. "We're building trade routes with the Virexians and Kalen." "And the Tharun?" Jason asked. "Still healing," she replied. "But they're trying." Emily entered with a message. "We received a new signal," she said, "from a distant system." Jason took the tablet. He read the words. "We have seen your rise. We wish to speak. We are not like the Tharun. We are explorers, like you." He smiled. "Looks like we're not done yet." Looking to the future across the world, humans prepared for the next chapter. Spaceports opened, diplomats trained, schools taught children about other planets and species. Kids dreamed of becoming ambassadors, scientists, and starship captains. And, high above, the Liberty hovered near the edge of the solar system. Its mission wasn't over. "Where to now?" Marcus asked, hands on the controls. Jason looked at the stars. "Everywhere," he said. Lisa smiled. "Then let's go." With a soft hum, the engines powered up and the Liberty vanished into warp, into the unknown, into the future.